About Henry Hill's life, wise guy life in a mafia family. It's a must read, but Henry didn't know anything about the actual heist. The book I wrote, Inside the Lufthansa Heist FBI Lied, is about the facts of that night and the subsequent 37-year investigation. A little bit of my background. I was born in St. John's Hospital, Long Island City, baptized in St. Sebastian, Woodside. My grandparents lived in Astoria and Woodside, and my old man was a city fireman. I grew up just 5 miles from the airport and knew all about the shenanigans going on there. After the wise guys emptied the trailers, they would set them on fire, and my father would put them out. My father was ladder 158, engine 311 on Springfield Boulevard, right by the airport. When the heist went down, I was 23 years old, working at Lufthansa as a part-time transfer man. Let's start with a little background on the heist. It occurred 6 miles from here at the Lufthansa cargo building on December 11, 1978. At the time, it was the largest robbery in our country's history. I believe it is still the largest unrecovered cash haul in the United States. At least 7 wise guys did the job. The official haul was $5 million in cash shown at Chase Manhattan Bank, another $850,000 in gold and jewelry. But I think it was closer to $10 million. Now let's talk about that night. It was 2:30 in the morning, and I just finished loading $500,000 worth of caviar onto my truck, going over to American Airlines. I had a feeling I was being watched, but it was my normal shift. I was on overtime, so I ignored it, and I drove over to American. At 3 in the morning, I'm at American now. At 3 in the morning, the wise guys entered the unlocked East Tower and went up to the 3rd floor cargo office and subdued most of the employees. By then, the heist van was ramside and in the back of the building. At 3:30 in the morning, I returned from American. Approximately 100 yards from the building, I noticed 2 men sitting in the dark-colored van that was backed up to the building's closed vehicle entrance. I made a U-turn in front of them, and my high-beam headlights lit up the passenger like a Christmas tree. I parked my truck 50 feet in front of them, walked past the van when the passenger mumbled something. I ran like a bat out of hell and screamed for help, but when I stopped over the second door to the building, I was pistol whipped numerous times. I just get in my hat. Tommy DeSimone said, "If you scream again, we'll kill you." My hat was then pulled down to my chin and I was tossed into the van. This hat saved my life. After a few minutes, another cargo agent, Ralph, came out to investigate the noise and a shotgun was stuck in his face. Ralph and I were held hostage in the back of the van. The boss then got into the passenger seat and he ordered the driver to take the van into the building. After arriving at the ballroom, we walked through the warehouse and up the stairs when a wise guy told me, "Take the hat off." I didn't say anything, but I kept the hat on. I didn't know they were wearing masks. I ignored him and the hat stayed on. We were then left to the cafeteria. Rudy, the supervisor, was taken down to the ballroom and told that they knew where his family was. Rudy disarmed the alarm system and the valves were thrown into the van. The $5 million in untraceable cash, with no serial numbers, were in 40 boxes, 14 inches by 11 inches by 6. As you stack them up, it's 1 foot square, 20 feet high, of $1,500 bills. I might have had a concussion and passed out on the cafeteria floor for a short period. I remember a young, overweight man came in and demanded, "Who's the guy who screamed?" One of the men pointed me out and said loudly and aggressively, "What are you screaming for? It's not your money." Then I realized this was a big job. They were here for something. And I was in the ballroom that night. I was jam-packed. It was 2 weeks before Hanukkah and Christmas. Then he says, "You guys got a beautiful cafeteria." He walked over to a half dozen vending machines lined up along the back wall and pressed the selection button for the service machine. Then he said to me, "We'll take care of you later." Even with the threat, I started to feel better. If they're going to kill me, they would have done it already. Then again, maybe not. "If you hear any shots, don't panic," one guy said. Another guy said, "Does anybody want some water?" "Where do you live?" he asked one of the wagon fire wardens. Ridgewood was his muffled response. "Where in Ridgewood?" "I used to hang out in the bar in Ridgewood." The warden quickly gave a street number. This is where the story gets good. Remember in the movie they take the trucker's wallet? This is what happened to me. "Where's your fucking wallet?" shouted Mr. Heavy as I heard him walking towards me. I motioned to the back of my pants and he grabbed the wallet, but it wasn't there. The bastard hit me with a gun squarely on top of an open wound. The pain that ran through my body was excruciating, causing me to urinate. I mumbled something at him, and I had a moment, wanted to get up and hit him. He checked all my pockets, found a wallet, and opened it. $5. Shit, you're worse than me. I ought to leave you 10. Kerry Whalen, Valley Street. Well, if you have any problems with you, we'll know where to go. We then dropped my wallet and fin on a nearby lunch table. Rudy returned and got on the floor with the rest of us. The thieves took Klaus's car keys and said they would leave his car at the Eastern Airlines terminal. They were ready to leave when one of the gang said, "We'll be outside the cafeteria for 10 minutes, and you give us another 10 minutes after that." The cafeteria door closed and all was quiet. Were they gone? The wise guys definitely got 15 minutes before the Port Authority got the call at 4:30. The first officer, a black officer, soon arrived and asked for a description of the thieves. Were they black? White, we replied. They might have taken a car to Eastern Airlines. A few moments later, a bunch of white officers showed up and asked for a description of the thieves. The black officer proudly responded, "They were all white." True story. True. The newspapers claimed the heist was the perfect crime. The papers got it wrong. The heist crew left the case on a silver platter for the FBI, and it should have been solved in a couple of months. Reason number one, it should have been solved quickly. This was not the crew's first rodeo. They had to have criminal records. The accents gave them away. They were definitely Queens, Brooklyn guys. Number three, my name was in the papers the very next day. Composites of the driver and the passenger were in the papers 2 days later. The neighborhood snitches did recognize the two jerks who were so brazen to take off their masks. Newsweek magazine, March 5, 1979, stated, "Whalen did a composite sketch so accurate, according to Lawman, it looks as though Seppi sat for it." At least 3 hostages saw the getaway vehicle, and one of the hostages, Ralph, got a plate number, partial plate number. The 1978 Ford van was recovered intact just 2 days later on East 95th Street in Brooklyn. One of the wise guys left his Puma sneaker prints on the paperwork that fell out of my pocket. Another wise guy left his Lufthansa coffee cup in the vehicle. I don't know if they could do anything with that then, but now, DNA. Number 6. Lou Barner, the inside man, told his girlfriend, golden buddies, and his bartenders that he was the mastermind. He purchased a new van, went to Florida, and paid off some bills. Peter Grunewald, a friend of Lou's, tried to shake down Lou for some action. Bill Fischetti, another friend of Lou's, was sleeping with Lou's wife, tried to shake down some of the wise guys for a piece of the pie. Fischetti realized how stupid he was and he went to the Nassau County Police. Some of the major blunders by law enforcement. The FBI took over the investigation and fucked everything up. Detective Joe Connors, the 113th Precinct, that's South Jamaica, and Sergeant McCormick of the Artist Division, NYPD, would have solved that robbery in just a couple of months. The Port Dix never kept anything confidential. My name is in all the papers. When I gave a statement to the Port Authority detectives, they had a Lufthansa employee sitting in the room. The Dicks were no more than rent-a-cops trying to protect their employee at Lufthansa. They wanted to talk to me again. I never spoke to them again. I refused. The Port Dicks did not secure the crime scene. The robbery finished up like at 4:30, and I had to speak to everybody. And it was noon when I was leaving. Tommy Simone bent up my glasses. He ripped them off my face. So I picked them up, wiped the lenses clean, got this frame into shape, so I drive home. The FBI refused to give me protection. FBI agents said, when the Nassau County Police asked them, the Nassau cops said, "When are you going to take over protection?" Because they gave me bodyguards. Sweeney said, "It's not our job. We're just an investigative force." Angelo Seppi was a suspect within 1 or 2 days of the heist. He went to a Ford dealership on Queens Boulevard, bought a brand new Thunderbird with $50 and $100 bills. Fat Louie also bought a brand new Cadillac for his wife. Tommy DeSimone, a prime suspect within a day or two of the heist, totally slipped away forever the 24-hour surveillance of FBI. Ralph Redmond, accused of the hostage, he signed Tommy's photo. I answered 2 subpoenas and voluntarily went to federal court once. I never spoke to a grand jury. I never spoke to a grand jury. I went to 3 lineups and Angelo Seppi was never in the lineups, but he was in federal custody. Last but not least, Assistant U.S. Attorney McDonald, in charge of the organized crime strike force, threatened me. I can subpoena you, I'll arrest you as a material witness like Grunwald. I knew then I was dealing with the Irish Mafia. Three days later, on April 9th, 1979, I showed up with my attorney, Bruno Barada, and I never heard again from the bastards for 34 years. Does anybody remember the garlic scene in the movie Goodfellas? Yeah, right after you slice in the garlic, there's a guy pan frying a steak. My attorney, Bruno Barada, defended that guy. That was Johnny Dio. Any questions? Not going to ask me where the money is?